Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farms. Peter here. Now, some of you would have seen already that we've seen behind me now that we're starting to go vertical and maximising our growth. And we'll go through this a little bit later because I want to show you all the irrigation that we've set up through there. But continuing on with the vertical, we were lucky enough to acquire some kiwi fruit. And we've got a male and a female. And so what we want to do now is that build a trellis that comes up, and so that we can maximize again a vertical space. So I was doing a little bit of homework on the computer, and basically what we need to do is give each vine, so to speak, a 3 to 4 meter spacing. Now, so what I've done is I've marked out, and you can see I've got my posts ready to go. And what we'll end up doing is doing basically a 3-post sort of structure. So we've gone 4 meters basically for each bay, and it will be a simple sort of T-bar system. And what I want to do then is sort of frame it out over the top. And I've picked up some old concrete mesh, and they're about 200 by 200 square, and that'll give us that elevation that we need for the kiwi fruits to sit on top, and then the fruit will then just drop down. And I'm thinking something like I can reach up to about 2 meters or so something like a 2.1 or a 2.2 high sort of trellis running through, so then the fruit can then drop down. Then what we'll then do is as a part of, and I'll show you the irrigation, I'll tap into this line here and then bring it up, and then we can irrigate the kiwi fruit at the same time. So again, it's a long-term sort of scenario where I think the lady was saying is that we're looking at around about 3 to 4 years before we get our fruit, but we needed to make sure that the structure itself was heavy duty to handle all the weight. So that made me a little bit nervous. I thought, oh, here we go. I can't just put it on a fence or anything like that. So what we've done is sort of come up with this concept here, and then let everything go vertical. So I'll get some posts in, and I'll get a few things plumbed up, and I'll get some bracing squared away, and then I'll come and find you, and then we can start talking about how I'm going to get this roof structure all squared off, and then we can go from there. So I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are. I've got my 3 posts here, and what we're looking at here is obviously we can touch to grab the fruit as it comes down, but because of the gradient of the slope of the land, it does get a little bit. I can just touch it now. So down at the furthest one, we're just going to have to rely on gravity bringing those fruits down. But we're ready to rock and roll now. When I was doing the research saying that they needed to make a sturdy trellis for these kiwi fruits, and I went, oh, okay, no worries. It just happened that I had these posts here. What are they? 150 by 75. So that's all I had. And the cross member is exactly the same, a 150 by 75. So this will make basically the what am I trying to say here? The base for the trellis. And then what we'll do is we'll send off some cross members, and that'll be sitting up over this overhang coming out. And what I'm looking at is a span of 900 each side, so 1800 as an overall span, plus the 4 meters. Oh, sorry, 8 meters in total. So that's the size of the trellis that we have. And that was based on some sort of paper I was reading about putting the kiwi fruit in the middle, and it needed basically 1.5 meters either side to sort of span out. So We've got a little bit more than that, so it will enable it to grow, hopefully, and fill this up, and then sort of come out over the sides. So what we have is a male and female, and I'll talk a little bit more about them when we go to plant them in the ground. But I've got to get this structure up. So I've got one more top beam to put through for the other end, and then our cross members, and then the concrete mesh that I've got that will run across the whole top. So yeah, it's all coming together quite nicely. All right, so I've got obviously a few things here to work out, so I'll come and find you, and I'll see you soon. All right, so here we go. We've got our cross members in, and I've got my mesh on top, ready to rock and roll. So what we've looked at is 1800 as our width, and we've got 4 meters between each bay. So effectively what we're going to be looking at is, like what we said before, is we've got one male and one female. Now what they're telling me is that you can have 5 or 6 female kiwi fruits to every male, and I think it's within about 10 meters or so. So what the idea will be is that once I finish this fence here, I'm toying with the idea to see how well this goes, that we maybe put another one across here, or in turn go vertical again, something similar, and for passion fruits and things like that. So we're sort of maximizing our vertical space as a part of what we learnt when we were away. So really, at the end of the day, the only thing I've got to do now is as a part of the planting, and I'll show you that as a next stage. But we'll have, I dare say, the male will be at this end. Sorry, the male will be at that end and the female here. And the reason I say that is because the way that we're going to irrigate, we're going to come off this irrigation pipe here that you can see on my mesh, and we'll drop down and up like so, and then we'll just run straight across like so, you know, at about yay high, drip irrigation. So what I'm thinking is that the moisture coming into the male, yes, it will look after, but over a period of time, the moisture is going to push down the hill, and we'll end up getting a little bit more moisture for the female at this end. So anyway, that's the thought behind it, and away we go from there. But looking at it, like, I am absolutely stoked. It's got sort of like a curved little roof on it, and I don't think this is the highest point. You know, really at the end of the day, as the vines come through, we'll just make sure that the fruit's going to hang low, and we can grab from there. And at this end here, very easy. So, you know, the fruit's going to be about here, so. But also what I'm thinking is that this is going to give, like, where are we? In the middle of spring now, and it's quite a warm day. But almost, what are we? You know, probably about 12 o'clock or so. But, you know, we're pretty much due north. You can see by the shadow casting through here. So it's going to give these plants a fair crack, especially with the warmest part of the day, as a part of a shelter, a little bit of shading. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that we'll irrigate in the early mornings, you know, around about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So that's, you know, and then that will go through linked in with this one. I'm thinking that runs for about half an hour, but I'll do another video on that because we did an experiment based on gravity through the drippers, and it actually worked, and I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stoked, rather than running it through a pump. So just relying on the natural fall of the ground. So there we go. We have our kiwi fruit, or Chinese gooseberry trellis or arbor, and we'll get what I will do is, once I've got the plants in, I think I'll just run some fence wire through, maybe every 200 or something like that, just so that I can weave it up to the top. so that the vine can go through and have a little bit of support, and then it can really start blooming out. You know, have it hang down and we'll just keep it trimmed, and go from there. So there you go. I couldn't believe it. It's just like absolutely fantastic. And when you're driving into the orchard here, it just bang, there you go. It's right in your face. So anyway, kiwi orchard or kiwi fruit or arborist or arbor, I should say, trellis, variety of different ways of calling it. All about. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.